and it says much about the nature of fear and people's perceptions about what fear is. The most common argument I hear is this: the chances of dying in an aircraft crash are statistically negligible. You are far more likely to die in a car crash. So, if you are prepared to drive a car, why don't you get in an airplane? On the face of it, this has some substance to it. In America, there are 8 deaths per million people on average every year from aircraft disasters, compared to 241 per million in car crashes. Thus, US citizens are about 30 times more likely to die in a car than on an airplane. If you prefer to measure the various risks by distance traveled, air travel seems safer still. There are 0.05 deaths per billion kilometers traveled by air and 3.1 deaths per billion kilometers traveled by car. So traveling by air is 62 times safer. 1. However, there are 2 big problems with this approach. The first lies in the misleading way in which both these statistics have been presented. To talk about deaths per head of the population should fool no one. People more regularly drive than fly in the USA, so relating aircraft and car deaths to simple population levels results in meaningless figures. It is like saying that horse riding has become much safer since 1920 because the number of deaths per head of the population has gone down, whereas the actual reason has more to do with the fact that many fewer people ride horses. Less obviously, the comparison on the basis of deaths per billion kilometers traveled is also misleading. Of the 9 types of transport commonly categorized, air, bus, train, van, water, car, bicycle, foot, and motorbike, air is by far the safest when calculated in this way, but by number of journeys, it is the third most dangerous, being almost 3 times as dangerous as choosing to travel by car. 2. The grounds for saying that you are far more likely to die in a car crash are based on the fact that airplanes cover such great distances. Let me put it like this: would you prefer to suffer a fatal accident at the beginning of a long flight or at the end? I expect you will agree that it really doesn't make much difference, but it makes a huge difference as far as the statistics are concerned. A plane that crashes after 2,000 kilometers of a flight with the loss of all on board would be regarded as 1,000 times safer than one that crashes after just 2 kilometers with the same loss of life. The degree to which this deaths per billion kilometers argument is misleading is revealed by applying it to travel by space shuttle.